The Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke tell the story of Jesus' birth, complete with angels, shepherds, wise men, and a manger. But the Gospel of John tells it with just 4 words. The Word became flesh. Simple, yet profound. These words are 4 of the most significant words in all of Scripture. Without them, there would be no Christianity. Without them, no hope for humanity. These 4 words change everything. Jesus, who is God, became human. My mind cannot fully grasp the simplicity and the depth of this truth. These words drive me to my knees. Jesus, who existed outside of time, entered time. Eternal Jesus, the Son of God, fully divine, became a helpless baby lying in a manger, wrapped in swaddling clothes. God himself, all-powerful and all-knowing, became a man and subjected himself to the human experience. Who, being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness. Philippians 2, verses 6 and 7. When we truly grasp the Incarnation, Jesus as fully God and fully man, it changes everything. The eternal Son stepped into our world so that we might truly know God. God, whom no one had ever seen, the invisible God, made himself visible through Jesus Christ. He wanted us to see him. He wanted us to know him through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God, but God, the one and only, who is at the Father's side, has made him known. John 1:18. Jesus himself said, "Whoever sees me sees the one who sent me." John 12:45. He also says, "Anyone who has seen me has seen the Father." John 14:9. Paul tells us the Son is the image of the invisible God. Colossians 1:15. The eternal Creator became one of us. Jesus, through whom all things were created, became flesh and blood. He was born into a human body. He experienced all the same physical and emotional realities that we do. He felt hunger and thirst and tiredness and joy, sadness, and finally he experienced death. Because Jesus was human and experienced the same things we do, we can be sure that he understands us. Jesus is touchable. And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. Philippians 2:8. The Son of God, who dwelt in eternal glory, came down to live among us. For 33 years, Jesus walked the dusty roads of this earth. He entered our world not just to visit, but to dwell with us. The phrase John uses when he says Jesus made his dwelling among us literally means tabernacled. This echoes the Old Testament tabernacle where God's presence dwelt with his people in the wilderness. In Jesus, God once again came to dwell among his people. His desire was for us to know him, to truly know him so that we could walk the way he walked and live the way he lived. The Apostle John tells us, whoever claims to abide in him must walk as Jesus walked. And Peter says, to this you were called because Christ suffered for you, leaving you an example that you should follow in his steps. Although Jesus became a man in the flesh, he was still God. He didn't give up his divine nature. He simply added humanity. The eternal Son of God took on flesh, becoming fully man while remaining fully divine. Jesus revealed his deity to Peter, James, and John during the Transfiguration. In that sacred moment, they saw a glimpse of his heavenly glory. The appearance of his face changed, and his clothes became as bright as a flash of lightning. Luke 9:29. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became as white as the light. Matthew 17:2. Until then, they had seen him in his ordinary human form. But now they knew, without a doubt, that he was God. Jesus is full of grace, unmerited favor that we can never earn. Though we do not deserve it, he freely offers it to us. Jesus' grace was on full display as he hung on the cross, sinless and suffering in our place. In one of his final acts, he prayed, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Luke 23:34. Jesus is also full of truth. Truth is the standard by which we are held accountable. Both grace and truth meet at the cross. Truth because sin had to be judged. Grace because Jesus bore that judgment for us. The Word became flesh. The infinite became finite. The invisible became visible. The untouchable became touchable. Jesus lived among us, fully God, fully man. Jesus full of grace. Jesus full of truth. Meditate on these truths. Ask God to take you deeper still. Ask him to give you a fresh revelation. Then thank him for the gift of his Son. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. John 1:14. If this verse stirred your heart, you're invited to keep going deeper. This teaching is part of Memorized Scripture, a 52-week Bible study where we slow down and meditate on one verse each week. We read it, we repeat it, we let the truth of Scripture settle deep into our hearts. You can begin anytime. There's no need to catch up. You can join the Memorized Scripture study by clicking the link in the description below. And if you want to go deeper into John, if you would like to explore that opening chapter that we just talked a little bit about in greater depth, you can join the online study called Come and See, the 30-day deep dive into John 1. In this guided study, we will walk through John chapter 1. We're going to mark the text, we're going to ask questions, and we're going to discover what it reveals about Jesus. The sign up is in the description.